The movie begins in Holland, a quaint little town in Michigan, famed for its Dutch roots and the yearly Tulip Festival. Amid the calm streets and blooming colors lives Nancy Vandergroot, a woman whose life appears perfectly arranged, until a single missing earring sends everything spiraling out of control. She searches frantically, restless and furious, certain that her young nanny must have stolen it. Her voice sharpens as she demands the truth, but the poor girl trembles, not understanding, and nervously apologizes for eating the family's bacon instead. Nancy tries to hint that something else was taken, but the girl misses the cue entirely. Anger flashes across Nancy's face. Her patience snaps. She asks the confused girl to leave and comes back when she's ready to tell the truth. Moments later, her son, Harry, explodes in protest. He shouts at his mother for being unfair. The nanny was his friend, his only comfort. He storms into his room and calls his father, Fred, an optometrist, to complain. Fred listens calmly and assures the boy that they'll talk when he gets home. When he finally returns, he leads Harry into his workshop, a miniature world of his own making. Tiny houses, model trains, and streets resembling their town. There, Fred tells Harry gently that women sometimes overreact to things. He advises him to keep the peace. Harry nods quietly. That evening, at dinner, Nancy brings up the stolen earring again. Fred barely reacts. His attention drifts. He casually mentions a one-night work conference in Frankenmuth. Nancy's lips tighten, but she says nothing. When Harry apologizes for yelling earlier, her expression softens, and a faint smile returns to her face. The next day, Nancy goes to work. She's a teacher at Holland High. After class, she vents to her colleague, Dave, about the nanny and the missing jewelry. Dave frowns. It seems odd to him. Why would she steal just one earring? Nancy changes the topic, mentioning Fred's upcoming conference. Dave casually notes that he has an eye appointment with Fred later that week. That night, Nancy calls the motel where Fred is staying. The receptionist says no one is answering in his room. Her heart sinks. Doubt creeps in. The next day, as she folds laundry, Nancy discovers a parking ticket in Fred's pants, issued in Madison. Her pulse quickens. When Fred walks in, she asks why he didn't answer the phone last night. He shrugs, saying he must have been in the shower. That night, while Fred snores, she sneaks into his workshop, rummages through drawers, perhaps hoping to find love letters or another woman's number. Instead, she finds an unused box of Polaroid film, but no camera. Suspicion begins to bloom. Later, she confides in Dave again, this time, voice trembling. She tells him about the Polaroid film, the Madison ticket, the lies. She thinks he's having an affair. Dave listens, baffled. He says he can't believe that Fred could betray a woman like her. Days pass. Nancy grows consumed by paranoia. Her thoughts loop endlessly, gnawing at her sanity. Then Fred announces another business trip, 3 days this time. She says nothing. At a diner, she meets Dave again, hatching a wild plan to break into Fred's office and find proof. She insists the Polaroids must be there. She asks Dave to leave the bathroom window unlocked after his eye checkup. Dave hesitates until Nancy's hand gently grazes his. He agrees immediately. Friday arrives, and Dave sits nervously in the clinic. As Fred performs his eye exam, he notices Dave's insurance is through Holland High School. Realizing he must work with Nancy, Dave lies, says he's new in town and doesn't know her. Moments later, he sneaks to the restroom and cracks open the window, making it look closed. Outside, a police officer stands nearby, and the sight nearly makes him abandon the plan. He rushes out, shaken. Guilt eats at him. He tells Nancy he's backing out, even lies about having a date. She looks crushed. Unable to bear it, he confesses the truth. The air grows tense until passion takes over and they kiss. Night falls. Together, they break into Fred's office. Dave stands guard outside. Nancy slips in. Meanwhile, Fred and Harry are having a dinner when Gwen, Nancy's friend, calls, panicking about her son's contact lens stuck in his eye. Fred agrees to help immediately. Back at the clinic, Nancy rifles through drawers and lockers, discovering a wallet stuffed with credit cards. And then, something stranger, a Polaroid album. Inside, eerie photos of houses and landscapes. One photo stands out, a woman standing beside a sign that reads, "Baloney Queen." Dave's warning call snaps her out of it. Nancy bolts for the window just as her husband steps inside. Later, after helping Gwen's son, Fred casually asks if Nancy mentioned a trip. Gwen frowns. There was never any such plan. Fred freezes. Across town, Nancy and Dave meet again, kissing in a haze of confusion and fear. Meanwhile, Fred returns to his office, finding a piece of Nancy's jewelry on the floor. His eyes darken. The next morning, Nancy calls the credit card company. Fred recently made an expensive jewelry purchase. Her stomach knots. Maybe it's for another woman. Then, in a jar of buttons, she spots something glimmering, her missing earring. Moments later, Fred walks in and presents her with a jewelry box as a gift. He calmly tells her he knows she lied about being with Gwen, but he doesn't yell. Instead, he asks her to restore peace, to start over. Guilt-ridden, she apologizes. She promises to be good. Days pass. She smiles through the pain, pretending to be the perfect wife again. But her mind keeps drifting to Dave. One night, overwhelmed, she calls him, trembling. She's ready to leave Fred. Dave warns her, if she does, the whole town will judge her, and she might lose Harry. He suggests they first gather evidence of Fred's infidelity. Nancy agrees instantly. When Fred leaves for another trip, Nancy and Dave secretly follow him. They trail his car for hours, watching him stop at stores and finally at a hotel. Fred checks into room 307. Dave follows him to a bar. Nancy, posing as his wife, gets the room key from reception. Inside, she finds bags filled with strange items, men's underwear, handcuffs, dog treats. She snaps pictures of everything. Fred returns to the bar, and Dave tries to strike up conversation, but Fred doesn't recognize him. When Fred leaves, Dave calls Nancy. She puts everything back and escapes. Later, they sit in the car, studying the photos. Nancy is convinced her husband has disturbing secrets. They kiss again, then fall asleep. At dawn, she heads home to pick up Harry, while Dave stays behind for more evidence. Back home, she inspects Fred's model town. One miniature house bears a chilling label, Lacey Annie, Baloney Queen. She searches online. Lacey was murdered 3 years ago. Meanwhile, Dave follows Fred deep into the woods, where he watches him deliver dog treats to a woman. He sneaks closer, recording everything. But the woman's uneasy smile fades when Fred steps inside with her. Nancy frantically calls him. No answer. Then, horror. Dave peers into a room just as Fred slits the woman's throat. Panic strikes. Fred attacks him, choking him violently. Dave stabs him in desperation and flees. Fred catches him again by the lake, then collapses, bleeding out, sinking beneath the dark water. The next day, Dave returns to Holland. He tells Nancy that Fred is gone. He lies that he used the evidence and forced him to disappear for good. They agree to stay quiet and wait until the Tulip Festival before leaving town. But peace never comes. Both are haunted, Nancy by fear, Dave by guilt. When the festival arrives, the town bursts into color and laughter. Then a chilling whisper, Fred's back. Nancy insists it's impossible, but several neighbors claim they saw him. Panic sets in. She finds Harry performing in the children's dance, smiling innocently. After the show, she runs into Dave. He grabs her hand, whispering that Fred is there. She pulls away furious and rushes to her son. They retreat to a motel, locking every door and window. Moments later, there's a knock. It's Dave, begging to be let in. He pleads through the door, finally confessing the truth. He saw Fred kill a woman. He thought Fred drowned, but he was wrong. Dave insists they tell the police. Nancy refuses. It would destroy Harry's life. They struggle over the phone. It falls, and Dave hits his head. She panics, apologizing, then runs to find Harry. Outside, her blood freezes. Harry is by the lake, holding his father's hand. Fred smiles calmly, sending the boy to wait in the car. Then softly, he tells Nancy he's disappointed, claims he's never broken their vows. She did. He says the killer's side isn't the real him. The real Fred belongs with his family. He suggests they start over. Knowing resistance could trigger violence, Nancy gets in the car. Moments later, she tells Fred that Harry's seatbelt isn't buckled. As he stops the car, she yells for Harry to run. Fred lunges. Nancy pulls a gun. He sneers, says without him, Harry will be lost. But Nancy no longer listens. A struggle ensued. With a cry of fury, she strikes him again and again with her heel, until the monster finally falls still. Later, Nancy searches the motel, but Dave is gone. The movie ends with her and Harry, two souls bound by horror, standing amid the ruins of their perfect little world. In the end, Nancy's perfect life was gone, but she didn't fall apart. She rebuilt for herself and for Harry. This thrilling story is a reminder to always trust your instincts. What would you do if you were in Nancy's shoes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you were captivated by this story, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite thrillers.